that the privileges that we have as sons and daughters increases our responsibility to demonstrate His justice, to demonstrate His truthfulness, to demonstrate His holiness, and that the privileges that come to us bring also great responsibilities. And so at times in the history of Israel, it was difficult for them to grasp these things. And they said, how can you be sending the nations against us? This was Habakkuk's problem. And he came to the Lord with a complaint. He said, Lord, what's happening? Tell me, the Babylonians are everywhere. And God said, well, I'm sending the Babylonians to deal with you people. And then he went back to God and said, but that's not fair, Lord. They're worse than we are. And God said, I know they're worse than you are, but I'm still using them. And anyway, when I finish using them, I'm going to deal with them too. But in the meantime, you've got to remember that I'm a holy God and that I will do what I will do and I will use who I will use. Isn't it interesting how God will use sometimes people who are outside of the faith, non-Christians, to bring us back into line in one way or another? And how God will use use other people in your life in a way you don't want them to, God to use them. And so through some person in the office where you work who is a pain in the neck, God will be using that person to teach you patience. And as you learn to listen to God and submit to His leading in your life, you will learn that situations as glorious as the Exodus or as ghastly as the exile, both these situations, God is at work, so He's communicating His wonderful purposes to you. So there we are. We see, first of all, that God is active. Then the next major revelation from the Old Testament we see is that God is personal. God is personal. He's not just active, but He is also personal, fully personal. In other words, this means that God is a personal being. He's not an it, a force like electricity. Now, it also means that when He communicates, He will communicate personally.